That's not Canada's GDP. That's not Apple's valuation in 2020. That is one person. One. On June 12, 2026, Elon Musk officially became the world's first trillionaire in human history. And this isn't a clickbait headline, it's a fact, recorded by the stock exchange. Today, this type of technology was defined by the second type of technology. Today, we're going to break down exactly how this happened, why it matters, and the most important question of all, whether this is good or bad for the rest of us. Let's start with the facts. On June 12, 2026, SpaceX went public on NASDAQ under the ticker SPCX. The IPO price was set at $135 per share. On the very first day of trading, the stock opened at $150, an 11% jump before lunch. By the close, it was trading around $161. At its intraday peak, it hit $176. The result, the company raised $75 billion, the largest IPO in stock market history. The previous record was held by Saudi Aramco with $25.60 billion back in 2019. SpaceX beat it by nearly 3 times. SpaceX's post-IPO valuation, over $2 trillion. That makes it the 6th largest company in the United States, right behind NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. Musk's stake in SpaceX is worth around $690 billion. Add his Tesla holdings, roughly $300 billion more, and his net worth exceeds $1.10 trillion, more than the next 4 richest people on the planet combined. And investor demand was absolutely wild. According to Reuters, total orders from investors exceeded $250 billion against an offering of just $75 billion, 3 times oversubscribed. Retail investors alone submitted over $1 billion in orders on the first day. The main question, what exactly are investors paying for? Rockets are expensive and take a long time to turn a profit. Let's break it down. Most people think SpaceX is about Mars and spectacular launches, but the real revenue today comes from Starlink, satellite internet. Analysts estimate SpaceX's 2026 revenue at $22.24 billion, and the lion's share is Starlink. Starlink operates in over 100 countries. It has millions of subscribers, and it's a global infrastructure that simply cannot be copied overnight. Every satellite costs money, time, and rockets to put up. Competitors will need years to catch up. Here's what makes it really interesting. Starlink has already proven itself in wartime conditions. Ukraine is using it for military communications right now. That opens up an entirely new market, government and defense contracts. And serious money is already flowing in. SpaceX controls roughly 60–70% of the global commercial launch market. Falcon 9 is the most reliable and cost-effective rocket ever built. Its reusable first stage has cut launch costs dramatically compared to what came before. Starship is the next step. The largest rocket ever built. It promises to slash launch costs by another factor of 10 to 100 if full reusability works as planned. If that happens, SpaceX owns this market for decades. In February 2026, SpaceX merged with xAI, Musk's artificial intelligence company. That means one of the most powerful AI players on the planet is now baked into SpaceX. Investors aren't just buying a rocket company. They're buying a space and AI giant. SpaceX is NASA's primary contractor for the return to the moon under the Artemis program. Starship has been selected as the lunar lander. These are guaranteed multi-billion-dollar contracts locked in for years ahead. Now, here's what makes this story truly fascinating. Musk isn't just a wealthy person, he is a system, and that's exactly how you have to understand him. Look at the structure. SPS controls access to orbit and global satellite internet. Tesla, electric vehicles and energy storage. xAI Grok, artificial intelligence. X, formerly Twitter, a global media platform with 600+ million users. Neuralink, brain-computer interface. The Boring Company, underground infrastructure. Every one of these companies strengthens the others. Tesla uses AI from xAI. X amplifies SpaceX's narrative. Starlink provides Tesla with connectivity in regions without cellular coverage. In 2024 and 2025, Musk didn't just support Trump. He led DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and had direct influence over federal spending. At the same time, SpaceX was collecting billions in government contracts from that same government. This creates a situation with no precedent. One person is simultaneously the largest government contractor and an advisor to the president. That has never happened in American history. In 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine, Musk deployed Starlink for Ukrainian forces within days. Effectively, one private citizen made a decision that influenced the course of a war. Then, when disputes arose about extending coverage to Crimea, he restricted that coverage. One person, one decision, geopolitical consequences. This is a new reality. A private individual with the influence of a nation-state. It would be dishonest not to talk about the risks. There are plenty. Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos' company, is actively developing New Glenn and New Shepard. China is building its own reusable rockets and doing it fast. Europe's Ariane 6 has finally launched. Competition is growing, and SpaceX's monopoly is not permanent. A public company is a different game entirely. Musk will now have to disclose financial statements, answer to shareholders, and comply with SEC requirements. History has examples of companies that started losing their speed and innovative edge precisely after going public. Musk is someone who has a gift for creating chaos around himself. Conflicts with regulators, impulsive posts on X, sharp political statements, all of this now directly moves the stock price of a public company. This is perhaps the most troubling question of all. One person controls global internet infrastructure, Starlink, the world's most powerful rockets, one of the leading AI systems, the largest political media platform on the planet. What happens if this person makes a mistake, or changes his views, or simply dies? There is no historical precedent for this level of infrastructural power concentrated in the hands of a single private individual. So, is the world's first trillionaire a good thing or a bad thing? On one hand, SpaceX is genuinely pushing humanity forward. Without Musk, we'd still be paying far more for every launch for decades to come, and we might not have Starlink, the technology that today brings internet to millions of people in the most remote corners of the planet. On the other hand, a world where one person holds the critical infrastructure of the planet is a world with very high systemic risk. History teaches us that this level of power concentration rarely ends well, regardless of the intentions of the person holding it. Musk is our contemporary, and we are living through a moment when this story is still being written. Maybe in 20 years, we'll look back at June 2026 as the beginning of a new era of space exploration, or maybe as the moment when we missed something important. What do you think? Leave it in the comments. Is Musk the Edison of our time, or a threat we're underestimating? If you want more content like this, subscribe. See you next time.